Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back from the Memorial Day weekend. Hope your weekend was great. Hope everybody's doing well. It's good to see everybody out there. Welcome to the We Are Rise show. I'm your host, Brett C. Collins. Tonight's title of the show, we're going to get into some weird topics, but congratulations to Texas. You really proven that MAGA rules. The Stars and Stripes are running deep with MAGA over there. MAGA wing is rising. Yes, it is. NDAs like Maxi-Pads. We're going to talk about these things that are just all over the place. And it's not teen takeovers. We're going to break that down and many more other subjects for tonight's show. Let's welcome my co-host, Marshall Smith. How you doing? How was your Memorial Day weekend? How was things with you?
It's good, man. Made ribs and all that good stuff, and put up a bunch of cool decorations for the 250th anniversary.
Oh yeah, you get ready for that. What is it? June? Is it June 14th? Is the event where they're going to do? Is it June 12th or June 14th? They're going to do the boxing match. Yeah, the fight.
I don't know, but they got that thing up. I mean, it looks like it's all got the frame, roof, and all whatever it is for the lights.
Yeah.
So people are poo-pooing that, and I'm like, look.
Why are they poo-pooing it? Well, I mean,
because he's doing this event, on the lawn or whatever. It's tacky that. Well, Reagan did a rodeo during the bicentennial.
Yeah.
I found out today. So he did an actual rodeo. Now they actually have clowns in rodeos.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're calling it, and nobody said anything back then. It's just this constant whining from the left, man.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, look, President Trump admitted today in his cabinet meeting, he's funding pretty much everything. He's donating a lot of money to fix up D.C. because it's a shithole. The fountains and everything with the Lafayette Park. I mean, he's putting his own money into this building, this whole ballroom, which is not really a ballroom. And there's a lot of other money that's coming in. People are pissed off. Even Bill Maher said the other day when he had a guest on just this past weekend, I got no problem him doing that and spending his own money. It's not being publicly funded. It's being privately funded. Oh, you still got a problem with that. It's still like the biggest thing I said on Friday to all you about the fact is that his $10 billion lawsuit, instead of settling that out from the IRS, they gave him what? $1.776 or $1.8 billion. And now he's going to use these resources to help what? Help facilitate some type of restitution of damages to recipients that have basically been screwed over by the justice system, by the House of Representatives, by Senate, by everybody in general, where people lost their jobs and livelihoods. And you're telling President Trump what to do with this money? That is absolutely fucking nuts. Now they want to control where you spend the money. It doesn't work like that, Marshall.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the fountains all over. I didn't know there was so many all over D.C. like that.
He said 26. I think it was. I didn't know.
They were all overgrown. They were scummy and drug addicts hanging around. Now I'm seeing videos coming out of these gorgeous fountains, and I'm telling my sister who lives up there, telling her to take the kids and go up and check them out.
Yeah,
it looks great. It really does look great.
Oh yeah,
they got to give him credit. They got to give him credit for that.
They will. They will. I mean, they'll do it on his way out. You know what?
Right? Yeah,
do it. They're not going to give him any amount of credit because they're like hop, skipping mad. They're pissed off because what? Because MAGA kicked ass this past Tuesday, and it was amazing when we get through it. Hello, pill.net. Hello, people out there from Texas. Congratulations out there. You've done your country an immeasurable job. What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Hello on YouTube. What's on Peoples of the Net over there? Hello on Rumble. What's going on? Are we ready to chimp out? Because we got some stories to chimp out too. True Taryn, you like the intro? Yeah, I switched it back. I know the one on Friday was a little shorter and had different designs. I might extend it out, make it longer. I know everybody loves the intro longer. I know Sausage Launcher does. He basically gave me shit about that. Wood USA, thank you for the 217 gold pills. Good to see you, Patty B. What's up? How is everybody doing? Tell me about your weekend. Was it great? Let me know in the chat. Blue Viking, Texas did its first job, and now we have a second in November. Yep. Howdy, Patty. Let's see. Trusty Turnup, good to see you. Good to see everybody in here. Wood USA, thank you. Good to see everybody out there. I hope your weekend was great. I hope it was special to you. Memorial Day weekend is more than just barbecues and all that wonderful things that we enjoy about spending time with our families is about the remembrance and the sacrifices of people in our families, in our descendancy that help what? Make this country a great country. And then we could continue that on and hopefully pass that on to other generations. I don't know, with certain groups of people. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. But if you want to help out the show and support the platform, you can like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill, comments, questions, concerns. I will put up the actual, let's see, show that. There you go. But you support the platform on the Cash App, buymeacoffee.com/wearerise, or you can help out my co-host. Donate to ko-fi.com/surfdog74. Let's get to some of this stuff that we're going to get into real quickly. And I'm going to there's a bunch of videos and stuff with commentary and stuff. There's only a couple articles I want to read specifically talking about tonight's subject matter. But I think right now, next to the Cassidy defeat in Louisiana, this was probably the most prominent. It wasn't because Ken Paxton defeating John Cornyn. It's about John Cornyn and how him being in there for like 30-something years, all right, as this rhino cuck, this basically, established Republican that continues to hamper President Trump in the Senate left and right. And this was fantastic. Ken Paxton defeated John Cornyn for the U.S. Senate nomination. I think everybody knows that. I think what it was is that you have to look at this in some way. It was a 28-point deficit. Is this fracturing conservative principles for the sake of the general election to fight off the wingnuts like, let's say, James Low T. Tallarico? We'll see. I don't know. I mean, look, the idea that new blood is coming in and President Trump is reshaping the party into a MAGA wing. He's putting people in there in place to make sure that in some way, it's not that when he leaves, he's setting this up for your future president. He's setting this up for getting people in there. They're not sticking the muds. They're not doing this for the sake of what? Themselves. They're doing it not because they're listening in tune. I think in some way, does Trump, does this look like a Trump-Paxton win? Meaning, did Paxton win this or did Trump win this for Paxton? Ask yourself that as we move on, because it's much more about that. And will this burden fall on President Trump? I mean, because you're going to have a well-funded political machine that is going to what? And President Trump has made, I guess he's raised a shit ton of money. I think it's over $1 billion or what have you, maybe more, that has gone into super PACs. So I'm sure that, and remember, Paxton was outspent like 10-1, and he still won by 28 points. That is an amazing accomplishment. And I think in some way, it wasn't really about Paxton, even though Paxton's stepping back and saying, hey, look, I'll take a job in the administration. I will go forward with this. I'll let Cornyn run. We don't have this problem anymore. But what happened? Cornyn can't be trusted. And Paxton's like, no. Trump's like, no. You got to go forward. And here we are. So Paxton win coming on the heels of the 11th hour endorsement from President Trump will reverberate nationally. The result is a triumph for Paxton and his wing of the GOP, which prioritizes politicians' zeal for destroying the left over traditional values like statesmanship and deal-making. And it's a massive blow to the Republican old guard in Texas and the political establishment in Washington, who were firmly behind Cornyn amid concerns about Paxton's electability in November. Done. Probably the best in that piece, I thought. And it breaks up the Bush dynasty. All right? That's another thing in some way. The outcome sets up a general election matchup between Paxton and Austin State Representative James Low T. Tallarico. Democrats have made no secret of their preference for Paxton, who they believe can be beaten due to the baggage he carries from a line of political and personal scandals. Paxton has run and won 3 times statewide, but Tallarico will be by far his best funded and most prominent opponent. I don't know a guy who believes Jesus Christ is binary or gay or part of the LGBT culture in some way is basically going to what in some way? Or what did Paxton say? That he's vegan? All these other things that's the antithesis what Texas represents, what America represents. And you're going to tell me that this guy Tallarico, he's everything that we for years have been fighting. Now you just have another wingnut that they want to present as their base to keep this shit alive so they could show President Trump, hey, the trans community, the gay community. This guy wakes up every day, Tallarico, thinking about what? Trans kids. I'm going to tell you right now, that sounds like a predilection of a deviant. I'm just saying, who the fuck talks like that? I mean, you might as well wake up and say, wake up thinking about 3-year-olds. There's something really perverted about this guy who says he's a pastor. Who the hell is this guy? We're going to find out. And I'm already starting to see big time campaign ads all over the place that they're pushing forward. And it's really going to break this guy and show who this guy is. It's disgusting the way he talks. Abortion is written in the Bible. Jesus loves abortion. I mean, it's just, who are they fooling? But I'm sure there are going to be plenty of people in Texas that will buy that nonsense who has carpetbagged their ass in there from California and many other states, Marshall.
Yeah, it's disgusting. This guy, he's trying to rewrite the Bible. I don't think the Texans are going to fall for that one, Brett.
No.
They are not. I don't know what planet this guy's on to think that he can talk like that in the state of Texas. I mean, I could see it, if you were in somewhere, Massachusetts or Vermont or something. But you're down in Texas, dude. You're talking all this fairy shit.
Yeah.
And all these kids and doing this stuff to kids. It's sick shit, man.
No, it's very perverse in some ways. And here's the other people that won. Mace Middleton. He was the state senator there in Texas. He defeated Chip Roy. Remember Chip Roy, who basically told MAGA Americans to go fuck themselves?
Yep.
He also supported DeSantis, and he got his ass kicked 55 to 45%, and that was the attorney general run. So his ass is out. I don't know if he's still, I don't know who's going to run for his seat. Christian Menefee crushes Al Green. Remember Al Green? Not the Al Green, the singer, but the Al Green who carries the cane, who interrupts President Trump all the time, all right, with what? Racial slurs, calls him a bigot, tax President Trump during the speech. He's gone. He got his ass handed to him by a Democrat, 69 to 31%. This is the 18th district of Texas in the Houston area. So I'm sure there's a lot of people here I know that are from Texas, and I'm just covering over it. So the question will be, and I want to just say this, the MAGA line challenges are extremely powerful in the GOP primaries. The Rhino Cuck established Republics shows a continuous stage of pure struggling in a Trump-influenced state. And I think, or states. I think the other thing is redistricting is knocking out several longtime incumbents and younger Democrats, as we see, Democrat challengers that took on Al Green and many other people out there that are challengers are starting to replace the older party figures in urban districts. So that's the key to understanding. Here's the primary wins. Ken Paxton, Christian Menefee, James Tellerico, who won his primary, Greg Abbott, Keisha Lance Bottoms won her Georgia Democrat gubernatorial primary outright. John Ossoff, he won his unopposed Georgia Democrat Senate primary. There's a lot of other big names out there. Yeah, Phil Berger lost his nomination in a major upset to Sheriff Sam Page in North Carolina. Hubert Vo lost in Democrat runoff after serving more than 2 decades in the Texas House. So that's it. I think I wanted to cover some of that. I don't think I want to belabor this anymore. Nacian says, I was hoping Paxton would be Attorney General of the United States. I think there were some people at some given point, that were thinking about that in some way. But I don't think the Senate, as aligned, would go for it. I think he had to win this Senate seat, and he won it decisively. And this sends a statement, Marshall, to John Thune and to the majority crew of people that are holding up and controlling the Save America Act. This sends a message. I also believe in some way that the Save America Act will be passed. I have a feeling that come back in August recess, something's going to give away. Now that you see that Cornyn lost, Cassidy lost, many other people, that the party's fracturing in a lot of good ways because you have broken conservative principles. You have people that don't follow suit with this. They're just rhinos in name only. They don't participate, all right? They don't want to help fix the agenda, sell the agenda. They just want to stonewall at every single turn. And when you basically tell people of MAGA, fuck you and die like Chip Roy, or President Trump deserves to be in jail like Cornyn did, and so did Chip Roy, well, good, God bless you, and good riddance. See you, buddies. Take care. Because you know what? You're worse than the Democrats. Because you're hypocrites and opportunists and backstabbing traitors. Marshall.
Yeah, and you know what? Now that Trump is chipping away hard at their power base, these Rhino power base up there, Cornyn, this guy that just the other one, all of them. There's a bunch of them. It's not just these in Texas. Right. And so now John Thune, he's like, now he's starting to feel it. And you know what? I hope he feels it and loses a little sleep over it.
Yep. Moving forward, Eric Daugherty puts this out. President Trump drops the bombshell, infuriating Democrats nationwide. This is a scorecard. Governor level, Trump endorsed 8. He won 8 times. U.S. House 101. He won 101. Wow. U.S. Senate 9 endorsed, 9 win. This is fucking amazing. I mean, if you don't think that something else is up,
8 governors.
Crazy. You're losing yourself. The power of MAGA and President Trump is growing.
I mean, we saw what happened in Louisiana, the primary of Bill Cassidy. We saw what happened a week ago tonight with Tom Massey in Kentucky. And now we're seeing it again tonight, okay, in Texas. Governor level, Trump endorsed 8. He won 8 times. U.S. House, 101 endorsed. He won 101 endorsed in the House, and he won 101. Let me put on the pencil right here and show you this. U.S. Senate, Sean, he has endorsed 8 candidates. And prior to tonight, he had won 8 times. And now you can take the endorsement from 8 to 9 endorsed, and from 8 to 9 winner. Ken Paxton was outspent.
It looks like it's 117 if you add, if my math is correct.
Got the endorsement of Wesley Hunt, the congressman who got knocked out 2.5 months ago. And now we got the setup in Paxton and Tellerico. Many Republicans felt if John Cornyn could win tonight, that he could be an easy winner over Tellerico. We'll never know that now. And a lot of Republicans felt that they could save a lot of money too if Cornyn won. But that did not happen. Here's what will happen, Sean, in November. In Texas, probably the most expensive Senate race that we have seen ever. I mean, we were looking at some of the...
That's insane. I mean, he was outbid 10-1, and he still crushed his opponent by 28 points, Marshall, as we continue on. Here comes from Nick Sauter. President Trump today, giving his... during his cabinet meeting today in the White House, he was supposed to go to Camp David. But something was amiss there. Something was up about that. Some people claiming that was leaked. It's forcing the NDAs and other things. Or is there something else happening? They're claiming it's the weather. It's a storm. We'll see. But here's President Trump. Kicks off his cabinet meeting today by celebrating Ken Paxton's huge win in Texas. I mean, so the question is, was it really Ken Paxton's win in Texas? Or was it President Trump's endorsement of Ken Paxton's win in Texas? Again, what we just saw right there shows you that would any of these people have an opportunity, Marshall, to win these positions without the endorsement of MAGA, President Trump, and the support that MAGA represents all through the United States, especially in the Stars and Stripes and the big heart and the deep heart of Texas? Because I have to tell you right now, it came out massively to have these numbers to see. How did Cornyn get Cornyn got 300,000-400,000 votes, something like that. He won the Austin County. He won Dallas. He won this Travis Henry County, but apparently Paxton won most of it, or at least all of it, and he got 600,000-700,000. It's insane how many people came out to vote in this primary. It's unbelievable. You think it would be something close to a fall election. So here is President Trump speaking today.
Things are going very well. Number of jobs. We have more people working today than we've ever had before in the history of our country, and many other things. And I have a few words to say to you that I think will be helpful. Last night was incredible. Not only Texas, but so many other places, and the numbers were fantastic. And they've really been that way for a year. If you look, it's hundreds of people won, and almost nobody didn't win. So, but last night was very, very powerful. So I'm thrilled to welcome everyone to the 12th cabinet meeting of our administration, and we're doing something that no administration's ever done. We're always letting the press join us because we're very open and transparent. We like the word transparent, but we're more transparent than any administration in history. No, to the best of my knowledge, press has never been invited ever to a cabinet meeting for any reason at all.
And how many cabinet meetings did Biden have? Zero. I don't recall any of them, Marshall. But at least President Trump is acknowledging that, and he's putting forth he's saying this. He's saying to everybody that my endorsement of Ken Paxton is what made the difference. Don't get this twisted in any way. That's exactly what happened. Was Ken Paxton a great candidate? Absolutely. Blue Viking, you're correct. A little bit of both. Then Paxton said he would step out if they passed the SAVE Act as well. Yes, his sacrifice to do that was, part and parcel of this. And I think that what Carolyn Wren had pushed the Republican Party to do, and that he had basically said, I'll drop out. Okay, I'll take a... And Trump's like, yeah. And then what happened? He said, no, we're not going to do it. Because Cornyn, again, was backstabbing Trump. You couldn't be trusted. They were never going to pass it. Forget about the votes. Didn't matter. This sends a message to Collins, who's going to lose her seat. Murkowski up in 2 years. Thune up in 2 years. A lot of these people are screwed because they still have their time with President Trump and they're going to lose their seats. If you don't pass the SAVE Act, it's over. It's over for every Republican. And remember, take a tally of all these people, whether they're up for re-election now or in the future. It really doesn't matter anymore. You will be what? Front and center to see a whole new Senate be in place, all right, before Trump leaves. And also continue on this. For the future president that's going to be, that they won't have to contend with so many of these piece of shit rhino cucks. All right, moving on here. I got so much more to go. I like this picture here. For some reason, this image right now, President Trump put this out. And there is something here to this. And I want to show you this because he's not just showing this image of comparing him and contrasting him to Alfred E. Newman, the character from Mad Magazine. In his True Social post, Trump wrote, "This is weak on crime. Open borders Democrats should never represent people of Texas," saying his values exact opposite. The post features a by-side image of the classic Newman illustration next to Tellerico, and it's getting plenty of attention. Classic Trump nickname. What do you think of the comparison here? Look how eerily bizarre and remarkably similar it is. And this is the face. And President Trump, when he proffers some type of meme in some way, and they are fantastic, and then he lays it out. You get that vision. You think, I can't vote for this guy. He looks like the guy from Mad Magazine. He looks like a fucking dolt. He looks like a nerd loser. Here we go. Look at this. Look at the nose. Look at the ears. Look at that right there with the chin on the side. Wow. Honestly, if the hair isn't parted on the way, it looks too similar, Marshall. And this is funny as shit. But my point is, now that everybody will see this, you will think of this guy Tellerico. Forget about all the other names and stuff that are called out there, low T and all this other stuff. You will look at this guy and say, how can I vote for Alfred E. Newman? Okay, when this guy Alfred E. Newman thinks Jesus Christ is binary, or he believes abortion's in the Bible, that we should kill babies. I think of trans kids all the time. It's just insane. It's harrowing in some way that if you're a Texas voter going to vote this year, that's the only image in my mind. And if anything else, without hearing the debate platforms, that's it. That's just me.
Yeah, well, the only thing is that Alfred E. Newman was far cooler.
Yeah.
He was, you can't.
That's unfortunate that comparison is there.
Yeah, and, he may have kind of been a moderate cartoon character, kind of in the middle. He made fun of everybody. Right. And to this day, I do believe they still do. So, spy versus spy, I'll never forget that shit. I always mention that. Yeah. So, hey, poor Alfred Newman, man, he just can't get a break.
No, he can't. He can't. It's just fantastic.
They're always dogging the poor guy.
Thank you, Darlo, for the cookie. Beto wasn't bad enough. Now Tellerico or whatever the fuck's his name is. What a joke. California transplants might fall for it, but nah, we ain't going to. I know you're not. I know you're from Texas. Curious Cat, gift to the cookie. Good evening, Darl L. Thank you for the can. Great to see everyone. Missed everyone. Thank you, Wood USA, for the 217 gold pills. What'd you say, Alita? Yeah, George Bush also. Yeah, this also breaks up the George Bush, let's just say, controlling interest there in some way. Cornyn's gone. Eventually when you get rid of the governor in some way, I think that will be it. Or Ted Cruz. I don't know what's going to come worse. I don't know if Ted Cruz, now he's not up for re-election, but Ted Cruz in 2 years, I don't know what's going to happen with him.
Probably be a televangelist.
Maybe he should run for president over Israel because he loves him so much.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So Nick Sorter puts it out. President Trump just dunked on Democrat Representative Al Green. Remember Al Green? This race hustler, the race baiting, anti-white bigot who taxed President Trump What a disgrace. Stands up during his State of the Union speech. They have no class, no decorum. The guy should have been bounced out of there, which he was. It's embarrassing that this happens. Here it is. I don't think they're going to play it. Congratulations to Democrat Party Al Green. One of the most mentally deficient congressmen in the history of our country has lost in a landslide in a seat in Congress. That is the Texas 18th District in Houston. But I will miss that lunatic not screaming violently and waving his cane at me during the next State of the Union address. Make America great. God bless America. Fantastic. It's good. Another one, good riddance. And Al Green was beaten by a much younger, progressive Democrat, whatever you want to call them, because that's what's moving in. That's the operation now. The old guard is being defeated, and progressive little radicals with the younger age group are moving in. And that's what they're supplanting, and that's what they're about to lay waste onto their voters. And it's going to be disgusting when you find out who half these people are, Marshall.
Yeah, and it's really on, it's on both sides. We're bringing in the MAGA people. We're getting rid of the rhinos, which are basically Democrat light. Right. Democrat, and they're getting rid of their old school, and they're going with the hardcore leftist Marxist shit. So hey, good luck with that. Go for it.
Yeah, how's Mondami working out for you up there in New York? He wants to seize property now from white people. He wants to take buildings.
Apartments.
He wants to take apartments and condos and all this stuff and reprocess them, repurpose them, and make them a shared commune. Good luck with that. I'm going to tell you right now, my opinion, someone's going to shoot him. I don't want to put that out there, but he might get assassinated because that level of nuts, of crazy, of cuckoo-ness, of pure straight up Raul Castro, we'll talk about Cuba, that stuff, that ain't going to fly. And you're starting to see everybody right now, they're asking Governor Hochul to recall him or to remove him. There are people going around trying to get him removed. There are going to be a lot of incidents against him because when this nutso gets a lot more crazy and starts using the courts for his facilitation, I'm telling you, that's when people start losing their shit. Yes, watch that and keep an eye on it. I'm not hoping it will. I'm just saying right now, when you want to turn New York into Cuba, good luck on how that's going to work. James Tallarico was asked the first thing he thinks about aside from family. His answer, trans kids. Not jobs, not border, not inflation, not anything that matters to you in Texas, not fentanyl killing families, trans kids. This guy is a deviant. He's a pervert. There's something off about him. Look at him. This is your Democrat Senate candidate. Listen to this freak show.
Or friends.
I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children who showed up yesterday at the state capitol to advocate for their humanity. They shouldn't have to, but it was an inspiration to watch.
Advocate for their humanity. Or is it to advocate for what? Your deviancy, your perversion. What knucklehead, what person speaks like this? This person is completely a batshit crazy loon. To say something like that, that's so twisted. I'm just so happy that all these fucking mental giants, these people that have mental health disease, it's far worse than that. These people that are parademons, they show up and they support me. And I cannot not think about them. I know it's a double negative, but honestly, what person speaks like this? I thought we moved on from this nonsense, and yet he's still towing this line. What a sick, twisted joke this guy is. It is highly embarrassing. And if you lose this in Texas, my God, that'll be shameful, Marshall. It will be shameful.
Yeah, this is sick language, and I am just so tired of hearing it. Yeah. They use this kind of language. Oh, he's a hero because he's coming out and this and that and the other. They massage these words in there to make it sound good and normal and nice. It's not. It's the opposite. No, it's the devil's words laced in sugar.
Yep.
Fucking sick.
And it tastes so sweet because you think like, oh, he really cares about. He couldn't give two fucks about you. He just wants what? Your vote, so he can get in there and make your life even more miserable. Okay? He wants to what? Make more kids trans. These people don't stop. Yes, they're Baal disciples. There's no doubt about it. They're Baal disciples. Anybody who says this, I think about trans kids dailies. There's something really ugly and demented and twisted in that man's soul, if he has one. What a fucking sick lunatic. So Eric Doherty puts this out. Mays Middleton, as we talked about, has defeated Chip Roy. And I wasn't sure if Mays Middleton was supported by President Trump, but back in 2021, I believe that he did support him and there are pictures with them. So maybe he did in some way support him. Middleton has vowed to quash the Islamization of Texas to keep Texas a red and repel Islam. Well, you know what? You might have to do something with the governor about that. Because the Bush acolytes and the Bush figures, the prominent forward-thinking idiots as they are, try to, there's no Muslim problem. It's okay. Let them resettle here when you got some of the greatest amount of Muslim mosque and all these other things that are popping up next to fucking Michigan. My God, what's going on there? You have to repel borders there. Here we go.
We are a Christian nation. We are a Christian state. Period. The end. I took on our foreign adversaries as well. Stopped China from buying our land, tripled border security, designated cartels as terrorists, and am now taking on one of our most growing and biggest threats, which is Sharia law and Islamification. You know, Sharia law is organized crime, period, and I will treat it as such. I also changed the law to stop these radical Muslim groups like CARE and Muslim Brotherhood from buying any property in Texas.
That is a scorched earth answer. I want to break it into multiple parts, please, because what you said there is fascinating to me, Mays. And again, a very welcome voice on the program. One, treating Sharia law as organized crime. Can you please unpack that? That's fascinating.
Yeah, so look, we've got to make sure that everyone understands this is not a religious liberties issue. This is not a First Amendment issue, because if they're faithfully adherent to their ideology, and I call an ideology for a reason, in the Quran, they see us as the infidel that they can commit jihad against. This is an America First issue. This is a Texas First issue. This is a national security issue, because they don't think we deserve the right to exist as Americans or as Christians. And it's how they're undermining us with this red-green alliance that we have seen. And Benny, I've seen it at the Capitol. 10 Commandments, I mentioned earlier. Guess who lobbied against that? CARE did, right? The radical Muslim terrorist group. That shows you what they're going for. They're trying to destroy this country, and they're trying to destroy this state.
And I didn't hear Chip Roy speak in this manner. That's why I showed this Alphabet Omega pill, because I didn't see other videos that I was looking at to find this guy, Mays Middleton, who I haven't really heard him speak too much on a different other platforms. I was looking through, trying to find it through AI and other places, but I wasn't sure. But he defeats Chip Roy. Chip Roy, I never heard Chip Roy talk about this. All Chip Roy would bitch and moan about is MAGA and President Trump, and then support DeSantis. So he's gone now. And a state senator of Texas, good for you, is now what? Going to be your attorney general. I think it's a good thing. And this guy is right on track right now to go directly at a problem they have in Texas that the governor, lieutenant governor, they're not working to fix. Go right at the mosque, go right about these properties, go right at them, and not make this a religious liberation or liberties issue. He's going to go directly at this and make sure that we're not letting certain groups of people utilize their religion to offset Christianity and to make certain laws in place that they can and set up shop and make their own fiefdom. No, it doesn't work like that. It's over. It's over. And I think this was the right guy for the right job. Chip Roy was not going to do this, Marshall.
You know what that guy said there, forget about that it was Benny Johnson hosting him.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
it's the messenger. It's the guy that was on the show that was telling the fucking message, okay? I'm not a fan of Benny Johnson.
Neither am I.
The guy that came on there, he said exactly, you know what? I like his tack. Yeah. I like his tack. Because if you use this tack, you can use it against the Hindu, these damn Indians. They're invading the hell out of Texas too.
Yeah.
They're invading everywhere. Absolutely. They own every fucking market. You can't go in it with the tack. You can't. Come on, man. I like the tack that this is organized crime and not It's
a very good point that he's selling, and that's what I wanted you to hear, because I was looking at other videos and I didn't believe that he had the same type of chutzpah that he was showing or throwing down on Benny Johnson that he had with other shows. But I wanted you to hear that message. He's going after them, all right, on RICO and all these other charges. I think people really overlook that completely. You're like focused on Benny Johnson. Who gives a flying fuck about him? If I could get this guy on, I would. This guy was really good. Mace Middleton, congratulations. He's going to be, well, he's going into now a primary to run off. He had the runoff to beat Chip Roy. So I forget who. I don't know who he's going to take on as a Democrat, but it's fantastic.
Our side need to grab on to what his message is right there.
Exactly.
That one is a winning message. You go against these groups that are shrouded in religion, but they're nothing but organized tyranny or organized crime.
Right.
That's a perfect way to attack it.
Okay, here we are from And When We Know. And we know, he puts this out there. President Trump just dropped a bombshell. His administration has uncovered hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud. Now, there's been a lot of fraud discussion going on, but when we start to hear this and what President Trump is saying, what J.D. Vance said yesterday, that billions and billions of fraud. And actually, when you hear about Miller came out, Stephen Miller came out and said, you know, we could balance our deficit with $2 trillion of recovering all the fraud, cutting it all off, saving Social Security. Can you imagine? Is it no wonder we're this amount of debt, $40 trillion in debt? It's because the money's going everywhere. And I love how he rips the Haitians. I love how he rips the Somalis. They're all scum. They're no good. They're crooks. Hey, we could say that about a lot of different groups of people, all right? And we need to keep that mantra up. Stop giving these people a pass and a pacifier, all right? They are not here for you and I. They're here to rob and steal, to make sure that that money goes flowing through them to their what? To their benefactors that placed them here. Do you understand that? And that could be many different groups of people, not just the Soros group of people, the Archdiocese, many different people, NGOs. That's what the deal is. They get a cut, the NGO gets the rest. So here we are. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet. I'm getting reports from AG Todd Blanche, from JD. I've never seen anything like it. It's hundreds of billions of dollars were stolen.
A couple of very strong women, too. But I was watching that last night. I said, I'm proud of you guys. In 2 months, we've exposed tens of billions of dollars of defrauded taxpayer money, prosecuted numerous fraudsters, Todd, and stopped billions of suspicious payments, very suspicious. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet? Where do you see? I'm getting reports from Todd, from JD. I've never seen anything like it. The kind of just hundreds of billions of dollars was stolen. And no other administration would do what we're doing. Just let it go. Everybody was getting rich. And I think we have a chance to save Social Security without doing anything to it by just the numbers of fraudulent.
It's insane. I mean, we're hearing more. I got more of this to go. Let me continue on with this because there was a lot of good discussions, I think, that were happening inside the administration. But I'll get back to that because I'll cover it later because there's more stuff that's intersecting on this in some way. Thank you, Darrell L., for the can. I'm so sick of the alphabet soups, that plus code for P. We have to stop this insanity now. Shut the fucks down. Tellerico's a closet faggot pedo. Yeah. I mean, there's something off about that dude. I mean, he freaks me out. He definitely is he is a very, very, there's something very sinister that he's representational of. And as a pastor, to think these things that he does, who is he a pastor for? That's what I want to know. It was these independent liberation religions that basically non-denominational. Is that what he is? It's really disgusting who these people are. Marshall, your thoughts. What do you think about? I'm going to get back to the fraud because I got more on this. I want to jump now because I want to move.
No, I want to get back to the fraud after you get back into it. So go ahead.
Yeah, I want to get back into it because I got more to go. Let me show you this. Let me just briefly walk you into this. I want to really start into the NDAs. I want to get into this in some way. I want to touch this because we can touch back on the Senior Polo, get to the phone. All this fraud is proof positive we pay too much in taxes. Well, I'm going to show you breaking news about DeSantis. Basically, this streamlining. We're not going to have to pay property taxes. And he's going to go after anybody that moved here recently. Well, you're stuck paying taxes for 5 years. Fuck them and die. Yep, because you know what? they get to come down here and buy up all the homes at the price because of the profits and of the way the imbalance is from living up north. And it's not fair that these homes are priced out accordingly for people from up north to come down here and buy for that reason. That's the scam in itself. And I can tell you that as a realtor. Let me show you this.
And the locals get screwed out of it.
The locals totally get screwed out of it. We always get screwed out of it. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill. Comments, questions, concerns. You can help us out here. You can help out MarshallKofi.com/SurfDog74. Hello, Linda Perino over here on YouTube. What's going over here on Rumble? You guys are all quiet. Let's get into the NDA like Maxi-Pads, okay? Like Maxi-Pads. And that's when I put it out there. NDAs like Maxi-Pads because it leaks like a sieve. It's so bad, okay, what's happening. Wait till you hear this and see this. Now, we don't know if the reason President Trump canceled this Camp David thing was because of a storm or a weather, or is it to what? To entrap leakers in some way for something. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough information because I've been scouring to find out, was there any stuff there? There was a lot of supposition and a lot of opinions about this, but no factual evidence to say one way or another, unless this was something else to unfurl out for people to see. Brett Baer reports the goal is simple. Stop the deep state from sabotaging the government from within. Agencies can opt out, but the message is clear. No more free-flowing classified info to the media. This is just all interesting between yesterday and today, and now you see NDAs. What has transpired? Now, we saw on Friday that I covered about Tulsi Gabbard resigning, and we all know, really, there's no other information other than what? That her husband has a rare case of bone cancer. And you know what? We wish him and her and her family well. I like Tulsi Gabbard, and I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. But I did have my suspicions and doubts. Is it because of this? Because I'm going to show you later how many people in the Trump administration have cancer that have left in the Trump orbit. Now, is that just a weird coincidence? We'll see.
To sign non-disclosure agreements, NDAs. The stated goal is to stop leaks of confidential government information. Fox News reviewed a copy of a draft notice posted to the federal registrar by the Office of Personnel Management. That is the agency that oversees the federal workforce. The draft says individual agencies can opt out of the NDAs. Federal workers already have whistleblower protections, setting up a potential legal battle between federal workers who do not wish to sign and agency heads that want the opposite. The head of the union representing federal and D.C. government employees says the rule is part of a continuing effort to silence federal employees. The commission is planning to make it.
What do you think about that before I get into the article, Marshall? What do you think about that? Why did that come out? I mean, that was that was Saturday or Sunday. They were putting that out. Today's the 27th. That came out like the 25th, 26th. Why all of a sudden is that coming out? I'm going to show you this. Yeah, and this is a weird thing. So Trump is pushing. This comes from the International Business Times. I like this article. I read 5. I thought this was the best. So Trump pushes, and I want you to see this. There's something up. All right. And we're going to get to it. So Trump pushes for mandatory NDAs for federal workers, sparks fears of a government gag order on whistleblowers. Donald Trump administration is moving forward with a proposal that will require all federal employees to sign non-disclosure agreements in a sweeping attempt to tighten control over government information. Why at this time? Why is there so much of the tightening up this? Now, instead of the narrowing of the NDAs, they're going to broaden it to more expansive stuff. Think about that. Because something is being released. Something is being dropped out there. Not just because of the UFO disclosure. Keep that in mind. There are many other things that we're about to see that I think this is going to fall under that purview. So the draft policy would apply to both new and existing staff across federal agencies, and it could extend to former employees, raising concerns among press freedom groups that it may function as a broad restriction on speaking to journalists. The measure comes amid ongoing tensions over leaks of international communications, and sensitive government operations is now set up to undergo a 30-day public comment period before any final decision is made. The draft notice proposes a uniform and non-disclosure agreement for the entire federal workforce, with agencies giving discretion over implementation, but encouraged to adopt consistent standards. The aim, according to the document, is to better protect confidential government information and prevent unauthorized disclosures to the media. So under the proposal, the federal employees would require to sign agreements covering a wide range of materials, including non-public communications and sensitive internal discussions. Former employees would also be restricted from sharing covered information without written approval and from an authorized agency official or risk civil and criminal penalties. The Office of Personnel Management, OPM, has argued that the approach aligns federal practice with private sector standards. Scott Cooper said the federal government should not be held to a lower standard than companies that routinely use NDAs to safeguard sensitive material. Think about what companies have. You have proprietary information that you're working on with proprietary technology or software or anything else. You have to sign NDAs, non-compete forms, especially you work for another company. You cannot talk about this. You cannot release this information because you could be sued or worse. So adding that the proposal is designed to strengthen accountability and protect government data, a broad definition of confidential information. A key point to this contention, and I'll leave it at this, is the draft's expansive definition of what constitutes confidential government information. As reported by The Independent, it includes not only classified information, listen to this, or material, but also a wide category of non-public content, such as proprietary data, pre-decisional discussions, deliberative communications, and any sensitive material not publicly available. Now, under these four provisions, all corporations that work in this matter all make you sign this. So you could start to see the business element of President Trump coming in here. The wording effectively extends beyond traditional classification systems, potentially covering routine policy discussions, internal decision-making. The draft also highlights concerns over past leaks, including disclosures related to federal law enforcement operations, identities of immigration, and customs enforcement personnel. Your thoughts, Marshall? I'm not going to read the rest of it. I'll drop it in the chat if you want. This is a great article. I expect everybody to read it and understand what is coming down the pike on this. There's something off about this. Why all of a sudden attention is now being focused on this? Is there something up? Does this have to do with Tulsi Gabbard's departure because of Joe Kent? I mean, I don't know. It's possible in some way. Is Joe Kent a whistleblower? Is this what we're learning from this? I mean, a lot of people suspect, Marshall, and you know, I'm not pushing the narrative, but they have claimed that the reason why she's out, she fell out of favor with the administration because of Joe Kent and all this other stuff. And they're saying the administration made up this lie about her husband's bone cancer. I don't believe that at all. Actually, I saw an article that says he does have bone cancer, and it's rapidly getting worse. But the question is, how long ago did that come about? Apparently, she's known about it for a while. And so she was there to serve a job, to do a time, and now dip out. Like Pam Bondi, who has thyroid cancer. Go figure, right? Little odd.
Yeah, I think most of these people were there for a certain time. That's how they were set up to be. Mm-hmm. They were set up to be there for a certain amount of time, and that's it. This thing with the Camp David, mm-hmm. I mean, in my opinion, I don't remember Trump ever really spending time there at all, and either. Now, maybe he did.
And there's a reason why he doesn't spend time there.
Because it's full of bugs. It's full of bugs. It's full of poison. It's full of everything.
Right, right.
The whole place is a deep state campground. That's what
exactly. And most people don't realize that. You never hear President Trump go. Why would he go to Camp David? Who would internalize and suggest he was going to go to Camp David instead of what? Having something in the White House that's already ready to go, clean and nestled, or, you know, travel to Bedminster, New Jersey. Why would you want to go to Camp David? It's a dirt slop fucking hole. It probably needs to be renovated. I don't know if he's going to do anything about it, but I don't know what president utilizes it. Maybe the next president will utilize it. I hope it's going to be cleaned out. I doubt it, you know, in some way. I guarantee you right now, whoever the next president's going to be after President Trump, I wonder if they're going to be using Bedminster or Mar-a-Lago. Consider that.
Well, and he used this moment to get them to move their assets up there. Mm-hmm. They move all their assets up there, and then all of a sudden he goes, no, the weather's not good. He wanted a reaction. Right. He wanted to see internally. Now, we'll never see any of this.
No.
But internally, they're seeing who's moving where, who's going where, mm-hmm. and he's able to scope out who's going up to Camp David now that ain't part of my crew.
Exactly.
You know, like you said, who's going there? And then with all these people like Bondi and the other girl, Gabbard, and all that, they're just rolling through the chapter. This chapter phase went. The people that are still rolling right, Brett? The people that are still running this whole operation are the people behind Trump, and that I believe is still the military.
Right. I mean, I would paint her like I do Bondi. She was there to plow through the deep state of the Justice Department to clear a pathway for the next phase of prosecutions. I believe so. Whether she has thyroid cancer or not, I don't know. Whether Susie Wiles has breast cancer, I don't know. I mean, that's her personal medical information. We don't know. They say it is. Okay, I'll buy it. If you say so, whatever. All right, Tulsi Gabbard, yeah, if you say so, that's fine. I mean, to dispel all the stuff is fine. Tulsi Gabbard is fine. She got a round of applause. We'll show it to you in a second. A lot of people do like her, and maybe that she was attacked voraciously, but I also think vociferously, but I think that the problem with her being attacked in this way, there was something else in there. And there may have been a deep state attack against her. The question is, did it go after her husband? And then this is what we're hearing about some type of, these types of do bombs or do weapons and stuff. I don't know. So here comes Paul White, Gold Eagle. Trump says he doesn't see an end in sight to the Federal Reserve building renovation. Have you caught on that? How interesting. Isn't it funny? No questions the fact that the building has been closed for 6 years now. So where's the Federal Reserve? It no longer exists as we know it. Do you understand that? It no longer exists. I'll play a little bit of this, but I want you to understand. The Treasury has now absorbed the Federal Reserve. As we know, it doesn't exist. Where are they operating from? If the building has been closed for 6 years now, and they're working on this, or they stop funding, it's never going to be funded, it's just going to disappear. What's going to take its place? Consider that.
Speaking of the Fed, would you like to see Janine Pirro drop the investigation into Chairman Powell to help? Senator Tillis has basically said that he's not going to really be working with the administration.
He's not a senator very soon.
There you go.
Would you like to see the investigation?
No, she's going to take it to the end and see. Like, you're doing a small renovation, and they've spent almost $4 billion doing a small renovation. I'm doing buildings. I built a hotel, the Waldorf it's called, and I did it for around $200 million. It's a much bigger job. They're spending it could be $4 billion. I'll tell you what, I don't even see an end in sight. I feel badly for the new Fed chairman because he may not have an office for 4 years. I don't know what these people are doing. So it's either gross incompetence or it's...
He's not going to have an office for 4 years. Let's consider that. Well, where is he going to work at? Where is his position? So are we saying that the Fed is already gone and then the Senate just signed in, swore in, and nominate a guy that no longer works for a Federal Reserve because it no longer exists? And this is all theatrics? This is all theater? Is that what we're saying? Or privately works inside the Fed as it's being hosted in? I don't know. That's an odd thing to say. I'm surprised more people didn't pick it up. So you got to wait 4 more years for it to be done? That's a very odd thing to say. That just tells me that it's done. It's finished. It's been absorbed. It's been absolved. And everything you're thinking of right now doesn't matter. It's all meaningless. It has no weight.
Mayorkas or whoever is going to get a little office in the bottom in the basement,
right? Like
the guy with the bottle glasses. I'm just going to be in the office here.
Office space.
It'd be really great if you just went down there.
Spies like us with what's his not Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, where he's in the basement making all this stuff. He's like, and then they sent him on this thing. Remember Spies Like Us? Great movie.
Yeah.
1980s classic. Where they
selling weapons and shit.
Yeah, they're used as a dupe plant to disguise the enemy. It's so funny. Darla, give to the cookie. Maybe this is how RFK Jr. releases the cancer cures. 3 people. I don't know. That's a good point. We're going to get back to it. Let me just state this. Getting back to the NDA thing, okay? I just think in some way there is something off. And the NPO, the OPM puts this out and says, will this or does this strengthen accountability and safeguard sensitive data while preserving protections under federal law? They put that out as a suggestion and proffering something more. I mean, it goes beyond national security, making agreements that are more broader for whistle protection, rights to Congress, IG, Office of Special Counsel. So they're increasing the amount of information that is going to be what? You're going to have to sign off of. It's not so narrow anymore. Now there's going to be a wealth of stuff you cannot speak about at any given moment. That any type of discussion about that, you could be penalized financially or legally. I just think there's something there, and I don't know what this is germane about, but at the right time, with the second tranche of UFO stuff coming out, with everything with Tulsi Gabbard leaked out, with this idea that the whole thing about Camp David, President Trump does not go to Camp David. I don't know why anybody didn't even talk about that, in some way. Okay, let me go. Let me continue on. Here's President Trump. We're getting back to the fraud stuff because I wanted to jump to it. Rapid Response puts this out. I think I got another thing on this. So here it is. SBA Kelly, puts this out. At the SBA Gov, we found $200 billion in fraudulent PP loans. This is Small Business Administration. All right, the hide and forgive and sweep under the rug. We turned the first $22 billion over to the Treasury collections and for DOJ prosecutions. Wow.
Us a nation of builders again. You're leading us to the greatest economy that the world has ever known. And I see that every week as I travel this country, main streets across dozens of states, from Alaska to Maine. I've been in many of those states 2 or 3 times. I hear it everywhere I go. Please thank the president for putting us back on track. They thank you. They love you. They want more of what we're doing: tax cuts, deregulation, fair trade, energy dominance. Small businesses are spring-loaded, and we see that in the jobs numbers. In the last 2 months alone, we've created over 300,000 private sector jobs in this country. Most jobs are created by small businesses, 2 out of 3. And small businesses, as you know, make up.
Do me a favor. Go look up who Kelly Loeffler is. Okay? Look, because you look at her, she's central casting. But go look up her background. She's worth, I think she's worth billions. Look who she's married to. Go look up her background, and you'll understand what I'm talking about.
99% of all businesses in this country and account for half of our GDP. So when that part of the economy is finally working again, they've gotten out from $5 trillion of regulation that the Biden administration put on hardworking small businesses. They penalized growth, investment, hard work, and success. But thanks to the working family tax cuts that every single Democrat voted against, hardworking families, the welders, the waitresses that I meet on factory floors across this country, from Pennsylvania to New Mexico, where I'll be tomorrow. Brooke and I are going to Arizona tonight. So we see this everywhere we go. It's one of the most underreported stories in the media. Main Street is back, and that's because America first.
And there's also a story out that we hear, Stacey Abrams. They tried to sneak it through some ridiculous amount of money, $200 billion, I think it was, try to pass it through, and they recovered a lot of it back. Go eat at Olive Garden one time. Okay, all right. I don't know. Yeah, but I mean,
you can have that shit.
But when I look at her in some way, it seems to me that there's, when you look at that, they're recovering all this amount of fraud and abuse that was going out the door before the Trump administration came in, before Trump was sworn in some way, and they couldn't get it, and they recovered all this money that the Biden administration gave to Stacey Abrams. It's disgraceful. It is absolutely disgraceful that kind of fraud and abuse and waste. And people don't really get around it. You want to talk about President Trump spending his own money, getting his own money from a legal lawsuit that he won, to give it back to the American people. Oh, we can't do that. Can't do that. Because they don't want to what? Showcase the weaponization that happened to American citizens that were thrown in jail, who lost their 4th, 5th Amendment, and 6th Amendment rights, that were in there for years. No processing. No nothing. No lawyers, no nothing. They were just thrown right into a fucking, into a gitmo, into a scenario that they could not walk out of. And then it's not just that. Think of all the personal and financial lawsuits and all the other pain and suffering. People lost families, lost jobs, lost their cars because of January 6th. And it's not just that. And I'm going to show you the Gateway Pundit very soon. But the Gateway Pundit had put out that what? That It's just a minute now. The FBI has come out and said that Mar-a-Lago raid was completely illegal. Well, who's going to go to jail about that? Let me continue about this. Let me move on. All right, I'm running out of time. Okay, let me get to a couple other things. All right, let me just throw this out because I'm going to show you because we just mentioned Pam Bondi. This is a weird coinky-dink, and I just want to throw this out there to a lot of people in a lot of ways. So, former AG Pam Bondi diagnosed with cancer. Okay, I'm just going to say this right now. She's reportedly quiet, battling cancer over the past several weeks. According to reports Axios, Bondi was diagnosed with thyroid cancer after leaving the Department of Justice. Bondi, whom the Trump ousted AG last month, will be on Presidential Council of Advisors of Science and Technology. The panel is chaired by the White House AI advisor David Sachs, White House science advisor Michael Christios, and it also includes more than a dozen tech executives, including NVIDIA co-founder Jensen Huang, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, and Oracle founder Larry Ellison. Pam has been enormously valuable asset of the president's term, and I'm thrilled for her and all of us. So she wasn't fired. She was just moved into another position in some way. Her time was up. Or was it? What do you think about her having thyroid cancer? I'm going to cover a couple other things, but what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's just like so many others. Mm-hmm. I think it's really her time had been served, and she's moving on. They're shifting them out. I don't know if she does have thyroid cancer. I mean,
yeah,
you want to pray for her and all that.
Oh, she's okay. I mean, that's terrible. Well, I mean, I don't know why RFK Jr., as Darla L said, is not just passing out the Where is the FDA? Where's the Ivermectin, fendobenzodiazepine? Isn't she not on? I mean, all of these people should be on something. But look at this. U.S. Homeland Security News puts this up. Like I said, take it for as you will. President Trump linked figures who recently faced cancer diagnosis. Pam Bondi, thyroid. Tulsi Gabbard resigned to care for her husband's aggressive bone cancer. Vanessa Trump, this is the ex-wife of Donald Jr., who just got married to apparently Epstein's, is the daughter of Epstein's former lawyer, if you're buying that. Or can you believe that? Susie Wiles has early-stage breast cancer, continues working through a treatment. It's not a coincidence, right? Suspected EMF targeting, suppression tactic, coordinating with mRNA nanotech injections. I don't know. I mean, did they take the jab? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know about their personal health and stuff in any way. But it's just a very odd coincidence that a lot of people in Trump's orbit have some type of cancer. Or unless that's what they're going with as, let's just say, the redirection of these people. Darla gifted a cookie. 3 people with cancer near the Trump administration. Coincidence. Yeah, I just showed it to you. 23 gifted a cookie from @Trump1. What's up? 23 gifted a can. What's up, fellas? What's up with you? Senior Polo gifted the phone. All this fraud is proof positive we pay too much. Yeah, I want to show you the DeSantis stuff. But hold on. Let me continue on. Your thoughts, Marshall, as I move on. Because I got so much stuff. I mean, I got pages of stuff because I didn't do a show on Monday. But I wanted
to mentioned it. You talked about the fraud earlier with Social Security. I want to dip in on that and say, look, if you found billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of fraud in Social Security, fix it, and then do what? Raise the Social Security for these people like not just me, but my neighbors who are surviving barely on what they get a month. I don't know how anybody can live on $900 a month. My neighbor across the street has that. That is pathetic. And he's a veteran. They should be ashamed of themselves. Anyway, I'll stop there.
Yeah, I know. I agree 100%. And, coming off this Memorial Day, we should see more of that stuff. And it's embarrassing. Where the Minnesota government, okay, were going out there. You had Jacob Fry and all these other people, again, talking about George Floyd. It's a disgrace on Memorial Day. And remembering that motherfucker. Again, they can't stop their just intolerant hatred of anything that we want to celebrate that makes this country great. You got to put up what? Gays, lesbians, trans, black people. He's not even a drug addict, thug, scumbag. Glad he's dead. Who gives a flying fuck about George Floyd? But they celebrate him like he's what? A golden god in a golden casket. Senor Polo, gift of the can. Is there some top secret security device protecting the White House causing cancer? It's a good point. A lot of people utilizing the Havana syndrome, the EMP blast, a lot of suggestive targeting in some manner. I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going on. Okay, it could just be it's being utilized as a way to, as Marshall said, move people into other positions, or to say that the time is up by, I gotta go help out family. I mean, because you don't want all the noise from the background percolating up as it did on Friday when she abruptly announced that she's resigning and she will step down June 30th. She didn't abruptly resign. It just came out because Laura Loomer leaked the shit, all right, and made it about her and not about her husband. When in fact it could have been. I saw Roger Stone all over the place on X, just going at it. Whatever. It's neither here or there. And I think it got out. And I think part of the leaking of that information is why we're hearing about this, because I believe someone like Laura Loomer and Josh Hammer got this information, leaked this stuff out there, put this out there, as I covered on Friday's show. Go back and watch it. That I believe that was the reason why you're starting to see the NDAs, because you can't trust these people. Why is Laura Loomer in the Defense Department press? Why is she there? She's an agent provocateur. Why is she given some? I don't understand it. So, top Biden DOJ official warned White House lawyer that Mar-a-Lago raid was likely illegal. Likely, or was it? Garland, top advisor, why isn't he arrested? Fired off a warning to the administration lawyers after Biden's FBI raided Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. Patty Steimler, a long DOJ official chosen by Merrick Garland to consult on lawfare cases against Trump, fired off an email warning about the legal issues arising. So apparently, this official who was chosen by Merrick Garland said, this is not a good idea, but they went forward with it anyway. The FBI found no probable cause. So who authorizes to the raid? And DOJ sent machine gun toting agents to Trump's Florida home. Remember we talked about it? Happened on August 8th, 2022, where that he knew they were coming and that they were possibly setting up for a fight with the Secret Service. Why would you go there in camouflage or some type of non-FBI paraphernalia to showcase who you are? Just show up there to say, yeah, with the FBI and what? Start a fight? Were they there as an assassin group? Consider it. So the raid came after National Archives NARA visited Mar-a-Lago in early 2022. Court documents revealed that Biden's FBI authorized the use of deadly force during the raid on Mar-a-Lago, which was authorized by Attorney General Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland needs to be picked up right now. Needs to be arrested. Arrested? Indicted? Where's his charges? Has anyone in the SCD or OLC, the Office of Legal Counsel, looked at this? I know we have procedures for declassifying. But is the president, as commander-in-chief, bound by those procedures? We also have procedures. You'd have to ask, I don't know why Todd Blanche hasn't released this, but this is coming out. And all the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, raised legal concerns about the FBI's raid. So so Biden authorized this, told the FBI director, who was that, Christopher Wray, go ahead and do it, or somebody else inside the FBI, warning them that former President Trump may have actually declassified the records. So Biden administration, it was probably Obama, sent the FBI there, directed them, overstepped Garland and many other people to force them into this position. This is not good. Stemler sent the email to Sophia Brill, a future Biden White House lawyer and then attorney. Biden's in trouble. It's all going to fall into his lap. All going to be in his lap. You sent the FBI there to what? Find nothing. There was nothing there. Then you set up all these papers and documents to frame him, all right? But you were there for something even more nefarious. You were there for something worse. And we all know what that was. They were looking for a fight, a firefight. Why do you go through Melania's underwear, you perverts in the dressers? And then you hear all this other stuff that's coming out about that and what they did to her clothes. How about Barron's room? Sick motherfucking twisted bastards. All those people should be fired. I don't care. I was forced to go there. It's my job. No, you need time off. We need to reassess your evaluation here. Whoever was in charge of this fucking thing needs to be gone a long time ago. Needs to be arrested. Your thoughts? Oh, I don't know why that's not a bigger thing.
I mean, a firefight with who? They weren't even there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Trump, they weren't there at the house. So this whole thing is sloppy shit what they did. It should have never happened. The area that they entered that house, when you cross the bridge, I know it very well. It's a very tight area.
Yeah.
It's not somewhere where you just like, I'm going to park here. Well, you're going to block everybody trying to leave the island and go to the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small area. So why they did this shit really, to me, brought more light on them than it did anything else.
Well, now it's admitted that the fact is that the bottom line is that they set it up. All those documents
never happened.
It was all there to showcase their power and what they were doing. If you even didn't believe the whole thing about these people are forced to do these things, they allowed themselves to be put in positions to do things that were illegal, so they can get caught. For all us to conceive and understand that. All right, let's move on. Got a little bit more to go here. All right, so huge development today. Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen of the DHS is drawing up plans to block all international flights into sanctuary cities by ending customs screening there. Boom. This would devastate those cities. Mullen is doing it as a direct result of sanctuaries refusing to cooperate, and good riddance. We need consequence that hurts. After this whole weekend, what's going on in New Jersey and the pushback and what they're throwing bricks and all this stuff, now they start arresting people. I guess they've been very temperate with the way they're doing it because people are watching it. A senator, Chinese senator or whatever it was, Asian senator, he got all butt hurt because of the pepper spray. Don't be out there. But you got the governor of New Jersey showcasing all this stuff. That's all they want to do. They want to have every opportune time to showcase who they are. While we're processing international flights into the airport, we are not issuing yet. But we are currently drawing up plans to say, listen, in these sanctuary cities, we're the local radical left Democrats shouldn't be processing international flights into their cities because they don't want us to enforce immigration, but they want us to process immigration at their facilities. Interesting. Let's listen to this.
And I said, if they're going to not allow us to go out and arrest the worst of the worst, and then when we call for assistance at the facilities, that the street, it belongs to the city. If it belonged to us, we would take care of it, but it belongs to the city, and they're barricading our employees from coming in and out of the facility. Then why are we processing international flights into the airport there? And we are currently, which we're not initiating yet, but we're currently drawing up plans to say, listen, in these sanctuary cities where the local radical left Democrats aren't allowing us to do our job and enforce federal laws, then we shouldn't be processing international flights into their cities either, because they don't want us to enforce immigration, but they want us to process immigration at their facilities. Nothing about that makes sense to me.
So that's a good thing. So maybe this is going to take action. We'll see what this does. I don't know how much this is going to hamper in some way. Yeah, shut down all the facilities and stuff. Then you have to be there on site to do it, and then you don't go into their cities because the FAA controls the airports. And you think about the airports, even though they're under the tutelage of the Department of Homeland Security, the FAA, and so it's federal jurisdiction, so they can detain and also go through the process of ascertaining what they need to do regarding anybody coming in, flying in over here illegally. How they got on the plane to begin with is one thing. How they're landing and then they leave the airport and they just disappear into the cities, that's where you stop them. And so now they can't do anything about it. I think that's a great idea. It was a smart idea. And we saw that for a while. They were doing that, I think, for a couple of weeks when they had the shutdown and they had to help out ICE. And they had to help out the TSA. And so they boasted all this through. And now they're going to make this more logistically, I think, viable for the time being for this to work out. And it's only going to be sanctuary cities. How many sanctuary cities? We don't know. Okay. Your thoughts?
Well, and all this shit is a kick in the teeth to the deep state and really the organized government crime. Because the TSA is a government criminal activity. Or company, whatever you want to call it, entity. And what they're doing is they've been funneling through all these millions of dollars cash and the TSA lets them go through because they get their little cut.
Right.
So, because you know who's working for the TSA? A bunch of DEI motherfuckers. So forget them. So now they just cut off that whole deal. And it's not just the illegals coming in or going out. It's the money that they're flowing in and out. And now that
think about all the illegal, the drugs and the money that are coming in.
All that, yes.
You got to think about how much money is going in and out. So that's a good thing. We're going to get to Cuba. Senor Polo, gift of the can. Did you see the two Mexicans walk out of the ICE facility? Everyone cheered, and they were told they worked there. Dumbasses. Yes, I did. I didn't cover it. Maybe I'll pick it up tomorrow. I'll come back to do a show, and I'll cover some of that. We need to get over that. I just had so much to do regarding where I wanted to just, let's just say, close this in about a lot of things. The subject matter I want to talk about. Biden has cancer. He's always had cancer. He's been in 4th-stage cancer for 4 years now. He hasn't died. Does he have cancer? I don't know. Joe Biden admitted, talking about it, ABC, CBS, one of them, and said that he had a stroke there. Admitted that he had a stroke. But she didn't want to give up the power in some way, and they covered it up. I'll show you that story maybe tomorrow. JD's talking about abandoning his presidency in 2028, Brett. I think a lot of that is a lot of fugazi nonsense. I would be careful about that. I'm not really sure about that. I think people are putting that information out. There is a discussion out there by a lot of rhino deep staters that are still inside that want Marco Rubio in the run. They think in some way that if Marco Rubio runs, he'll get his ass kicked against whatever Democrat they want to put up. I mean, I don't even know how that's even feasible. Because, yeah, that's what they're saying. And they think that JD should wait his time until 4 years after that and then run for president when he's a little bit older. I mean, yes, Joe Biden is dead. Or what the guy is playing him. I don't know. I mean, how many actors do they have playing him? But consider what JD, that a lot of that stuff is all scuttlebutt. It's not neither here or there. It's just rumors that are being thrown out that to, in some way, assuage JD from running. Yeah, I like Marco. Marco Rubio has been fat. I don't know. I don't know why I ever said that because I was always skeptical of that motherfucker as senator. And I held my nose to vote for him. Again, the less of choices of options. Everybody knows that. We're going to have that coming soon in Florida. Get ready. You're going to be holding your nose for that. But Marco Rubio's turned out to be fabulous, and I can't say enough about him. He's absolutely been fabulous, and I cannot not see a ticket with both him and JD Vance. I just can't. Maybe Tulsi is going to be in there somewhere. She'll come back. I don't know. I really don't know. It's hard to gauge right now, but I'm not focused on the future in this way. I live in the present by touching the future just a little bit so we can get into what's really going on. Let's talk about this. So Rubio goes off. Cuba's in a lot of trouble. Rubio dishes to Trump after the POTUS wants an update. Let's listen a little bit about this, and I'll break it down.
Cuba's in a lot of trouble because, unfortunately for them, it's run by a bunch of incompetent communists. And being communist is bad. Being an incompetent communist is like the worst. And but the country's been taken over by this company called Gaesa that basically controls 70% of the economy. None of the money in that company goes to help the Cuban people.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. Thea, thank you for the 300 gold pills. Biden is a cancer. Where have you been my whole life? Thank you. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. It's for Hogleg. What's up, buddy? Thank you for the can, Darla. I'll give anyone without an ounce of integrity who didn't come forward as a whistleblower should be arrested immediately just for participation. Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Hogleg, for the cookie. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill like these people have for supporting the platform. You can help out MarshallKofi.com/surfdog74. You can help us over here with the Cash App. Moving on. Let me just say this, what he said. He talked about Gaesa. So I really wanted to look into this because I wanted to understand what he's talking about. This may not be for you, but for my overindulgence, but bear with me. It's called Gaesa, Grupo de Administración Imperialista, S.A. I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's Grupo de Administración Imperial. I think that's how it's pronounced, S.A. It's part of MINFAR, the Cuban Revolutionary Armed Forces. It was created and founded by Raul Castro in the 1980s. 30 years ago, they're controlling the economy that dominates the island. It has $18 billion in assets. This is what we're going to be doing. Operates across hotels, tourism on the other side of the island for the British, the French, and the Canadians, construction, banks, stores, remittances, and more, with profits exclusively benefiting a small military linked elite rather than the people. A state within a state, as Marco Rubio's put. I think in some way there is something here that we need to consider. I'll play the rest of it, but you need to consider what is at stake here. The idea that we indicted Raul Castro, whether we're going to snatch and grab him and bring him back here, which will help, I think, in some way, crush them in some way, because, and then the 18 billion in assets. Are we trying to work this out with them to make sure that money will be reappropriated to them, or we're going to take that money and do it ourselves? I'm not sure, but listen to the rest of this.
None of it. So we'll be talking to them. We'll be working on it. You know, we want something good for the Cuban people, and hopefully there'll be a good outcome there for them. There needs to be. It's 90 miles from our shores, and having a failed state 90 miles from our shores is a threat to the national security of the United States.
So we're producing right now more oil by double than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined. There's never been anything like that. We don't need oil. We don't need the Straits. We don't need anything, but we have more oil now being produced by 2 times than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined. It's a great.
So the question is, why don't we use it for ourselves? Because there's no money in it. You got to sell it, and you're going to make sure the price is anywhere from 68 to 77 or 77 to about 89. That's the average price where they're making money on this. That's what this whole thing's about. G. Westbury says, this is a point in time where you can believe what your parents meant when they said anything is possible, even though they didn't really believe that horseshit. Okay. If you want to elaborate what you were talking about. But Marshall, your thoughts about this. That's some odd commentary. Please elaborate. If you got something to say. I just caught off guard with some of these comments.
People don't get what the phone parties were back in the day.
Yeah.
When you and I were down here in Florida and they had the phone parties. And when you get these clubs that have these phone parties, it's a room full of phone. And there's people in there, that phone that nobody else sees, and they're doing some weird shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of it can be a little bit, you know.
Yeah, but I don't know. When,
I'm not.
When I was talking about Marco Rubio, I was talking about when we were talking about Cuba.
Well, they're mentioned in the chat, you know. I mean,
okay. I guess I'm not paying attention because my mind is.
Chat was going off on Marco anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm
sorry.
Whatever you want to believe about it. I don't really know. I don't really know in a lot of ways in some way. Yeah, believe what you want.
It is what it is.
I don't really care about this. I'm just saying what I see, what I understand now. I don't think anybody has a good idea what's going to happen at the end of President Trump's time. I'd like to see him get 2 more years, if you ask me, for reasons we all understood. Okay.
I think it's going to go that way.
I think it's possible it's going to go that way. I think this is the last president, meaning the last presidency under the corporation, and we're going back to the republic. So it might be a start in this manner. I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. All right, let's move on. Here's another thing from Mediaite. So apparently, the daughter of Fidel Castro is pressed on a conspiracy theory Justin Trudeau is her half-brother. Let's watch this a little bit.
Have gone by. One final question for you. For years, we've heard rumors that Justin Trudeau, the former Prime Minister of Canada, could be your half-brother. What do you think of that?
The only thing I can say is that his mother used to visit the country very often.
Well, that makes well then. I guess that's a half answer.
So you don't visit the island for no reason. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. So she's laughing. She's leading that up to a lot of ways. Your thoughts about that? So that conspiracy is a truth now. So is it? The daughter of Fidel Castro is suggesting in some way that that's her half brother.
Well, I hear they have the phone parties in Cuba too, so maybe Marco was over there setting up deals. I don't know.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about the daughter of Fidel Castro. What are you guys? Get your fucking mind about these fucking phone parties. And Marco, You guys, man, dig up the phone dust. Yes, yes, I got it.
It was a joke, man. I'm joking about
I
it.
know, but
I thought she gave a good head nod.
Of course, a hat
So
tip.
she's obviously saying yes.
Yeah.
You know, Trudeau's my half brother. Okay, we got it. It's a good.
But the question being asked, I guess that was on News Nation. That was hilarious that they did ask it. You know, in some way, and you know, if you're pointing to that in some way, what does that tell you about Canada? What does that tell you about Canada? I mean, that's basically, if you're a Canadian and you realize that you voted for the son of Fidel Castro as your president, and now look at him. Where is he now? He's off dating some fucking, I don't know, rock star or somebody. I don't know who Katy Perry or somebody. I don't know. Darla gifted a cookie. What if Trump says he's a wartime president and he wouldn't be the first third-term president? I think the war he's referring to will be on the soil when mass arrests happen. That's a good point. I mean, look, I always felt in some way there's something off because whether you split up behind the scenes or not, maybe he'll get 2 more years based upon the 22nd Amendment and the way it's logistically written out. Because over the course of 2 terms, it's really 10 years if you read the fine print. It does say that.
And now Canada is not only going to not get Canada, which they screwed themselves. I mean, not Canada, Alaska. They're not going to only not get Alaska, which they're not going to get Cuba now. So now they're going, wait a minute. I can't get Cuba. Come on, guys.
Yep.
Give me a break. All right.
We're gonna shift subjects now. It's not teen takeovers. It's gonna be a little in depth. We're gonna go right at it. We're gonna hit it hard. You need to understand what that means. What's really behind this? I just want to tell you right now, the teen takeover narratives. Are they social media organized youth chimp out gatherings? We had one here at Curtis Hickson Waterfront Park, 22 arrests in Tampa. They have in Chicago, DC over the weekend, the Navy Guard, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Orlando, areas where there are heavily black youth populations, ages 20 to 21, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, spread flyers, pop-ups, gatherings, park malls, beaches, downtown streets, or events. Basically, what they are soft rioting targets, okay? And I'm just going to continue on. So you have the summer surge, you have fights, brawls, property damage, vandalism, looting, traffic blockages, rioting masked as social gatherings. That's the ultimate discussion we're going to talk about, and we're going to continue on with this. I want to read you from Liberty News and understand what the comms are here. Teen takeovers coming to a city near you. Yes, so instead of the summer of love, you're going to see more of these things pop up, and they're going to be poo-pooed away while they leave a trail of violence, chaos, and destruction in its wake. And these things are being now, some people are starting to take this seriously, while many other people are, again, refusing to believe or admit that the exacerbation of this problem is fueled by what? The zero tolerance lapses, things that the police that doesn't equal to what the police data and the videos are showing, meaning the media is spinning it out as a narrative that's not true, a conspiracy that is not here. The trend is gaining traction. A frightening new trend of teen takeovers is spreading through major cities across the country, leaving adults baffled, police overworked, and the public terrified. Hordes of young people are descending on communities and restaurants, malls, and beaches, and other public places. Their only goal, it seems, is to cause fights, destruction, and chaos. It's working. In fact, it's working so well, cities are placing curfews on underage and putting in place punishment for parents whose children are out of control. Yes, you should arrest the parents. Not only put these kids in work camps, put them in work camps. I don't care. If you're 12 years old and you have a gun, you're going to juvie. Sorry. Imagine sitting with your children or grandchildren inside a fast food restaurant, enjoying a nice evening with family, when suddenly a group of teens start fighting. Remember, they're using the words teens and youths. All right? And we're going to talk about that very soon. Chairs fly across the eating area. Punches are thrown. People seek shelter under tables or wherever else they can hide. This happened recently at the Navy Yard, Chipotle in D.C. The kids climbed over furniture to get to each other, not caring about innocent patrons, including a father who held his young daughter and son while they hid behind a concrete pillar. In Chicago, police officers are trying to disperse a large crowd of juveniles in the wee morning hours when a teen driver struck them, then drove over a curb, crashed into a squad car pole and fence. The driver wasn't injured, but was taken into custody. Officers searched the car, found a gun. The 5 officers were struck, were taken to the hospital. That was just past weekend. It's gotten so worse that when it comes to bad behavior, Larry Snelling, the superintendent of Chicago Police Department, said in an interview, kids just start to fight and they just get increasingly more violent. Also in the Windy City, teams were involved in an incident in a dozen surrounded police vehicle while another car rammed into its front bumper. A couple of days later, people witnessed juveniles lighting fireworks inside a wrecked car that parked in the middle of the intersection. This article was today. On the 25th, a mob of youth violently stopped a man and continued the frenzy. Bear mace, reportedly used as several rioters appeared to use tasers to zap each other as well as innocent bystanders. The incidents are getting so frequent that Mayor Brandon Johnson, this fucking scumbag, all right, revised his 2026 summer safety plan for Chicago, saying that in a news conference, the unauthorized gatherings can be reckless and dangerous, and we want to make sure that their lives are protected. He doesn't give 2 flying fucks of shit, all right? He doesn't care, and they want to go after social media to crack down. That's his response. So we're going to monitor this in some way and shut it down instead of actually going after and shutting this down. All right, so you want to be proactive and shut it down before it happens. But what do you do after the fact? The police department is going to do its part. Government entities will do theirs. Now we're asking every single adult in the city, whether you have birthed a child or not, our children are a collective responsibility. Let me tell you something. Your children are your responsibility. If you cannot control your child because there is no parents, it's a grandmother, single parent, I don't fucking care, then you don't deserve to have that child. That child needs to be pulled out. And you know what? And if they're committing crimes, put them in juvie, put them in a foster home. I don't fucking care. At this point, it doesn't even matter anymore. You know what? Teen takeovers is becoming increasingly more dangerous with gunshots flying, increased violence, more kids showing up to join in. U.S. Attorney for District of Columbia, Gene Perro, has promised to make parents pay the price if their teenager is involved in melee. Absolutely. Put them in jail. Could face 6 months in jail, fine $400 for it. And you know what happens? They're going to lose their house because they're not working. They're going to lose their apartment because no one's going to pay rent. Those kids, they're going to be gone. That has to happen. Starting today, my office will aggressively prosecute parents on the DC's curfew law. Absolutely. We're going to charge them if you drop your kid off and fail to supervise them and let them skip school to join this chaos. Apparently, social media is one of the culprits for these teen takeovers. New Hampshire Police Chief Alex Reno, and that they're investigating the camera footage from an incident that led to multiple fights and arrests at Hampton Beach. They're also following us up on a tip that suggests those associated with social media accounts 3 Deep Entertainment, which I've heard this a lot, BNZ.1K, help promote the violent event. I'm not going to play with this. I'm not going to read what's wrong with kids. We already know what's wrong with kids today. All right. We know what's wrong with kids in general. The schools have failed them. There's no parental guidance. These kids can't read and write. I think ever since what we had with COVID, the lockdown, ever since what we had with George Floyd and burning the cities and stuff, there's no recourse of action. The understanding of this nonsensical behavior is a part of a culture, a subculture, a black culture. Yes, a black culture. A black culture that's become so pernicious that it needs to be stomped out. And I'm going to say a lot of things that a lot of people may not like, but I'm going to tell you something right now. This is happening everywhere, and it's going to get worse. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Janine Pirro is saying we got to put a stop to this, wait till you hear what other people are doing, especially in this state. The idea, what's really behind or feeding this unpleasant or embarrassing narrative? Are the media downplaying it? They're euphemizing it. The coverage is harmless kids, niglets, needing spaces to chimp out, whilst ignoring the documented violence arrest costs. And we talked about the dial earlier. They're painting this as pre-planned riots versus organic hangouts. This operational centralized conspiracy theory that people like us that are talking about that goes beyond social media trends is what they're utilizing as lacking evidence. Even though people are writing about it, they're showing video footage of it every day, which I'm going to show you. These incidents involve a disproportional amount of black youth populations expressed by Jason Whitlock. Everybody knows who Jason Whitlock is. Gee, Jason, a disproportional amount of black youths. Why don't you call it what it is? They're parentless children. They're single parents. They're a household of crime, urban crime patterns. They're not being addressed. teens and youth are what? On the embodiment of using the N-word? Yeah, it's an embarrassment to avoid calling them niggers. That's what it is. And it's getting worse. If this isn't an indictment of race as a whole, then what is it? What is it? Because if you can't look at it as contextually as a bigger problem for the culture itself, then something has to be either completely amiss or something has to be done. And it can't be just about parenting and the culture. This is the lack of accountability, the stereotyping, and accusing just what? Without individual actions. No, the problem is our system of justice is not prosecuting these people properly and thoroughly. That's the problem. Why so many people have come in and out with no recourse for all their failed actions, that they're able to what? In some way utilize the bylines, the guidelines about how they're able to get away with this stuff because they know nothing's going to happen to them. There's no recourse of action. No one's going to fucking put a bullet in their head like Paul Kersey did, okay? That's the bottom line. And until that is done and we supplant this, we end this once and for all and take back our country, this disease is never going to go away. We're never going to have a fucking country where we can celebrate as white Americans and what? In fear of this black planet of disease that what? Corrupts and corrodes our system of justice. So what? They can all placate and say, hey, look, we're all slaves. We need reparations. No, you don't. You need to get a fucking education. You need a job. You need to shut the fuck up and stop bitching. Maybe take care of your kids once in a while, and we wouldn't have to worry about putting them in some fucking camp. That's the bottom line. That's the culture we're living in, and it has to be addressed. And I'm pissed at this administration for not addressing it further. So you're going to go to a Knicks game and what? Celebrate this? I'm sorry. This is one thing I have. And I also have a problem with the FBI saying 90% of this crime is not really what it is. It's all in subversive areas. It's all in those areas where sanctuary cities and stuff. Bullshit. Tampa's not a sanctuary city. DC is not a sanctuary city. Maybe Chicago is. Maybe certain places are. But it's happening everywhere. It's not happening in Orlando, all these other places. So stop with what? The excuses. We need to deal with this problem and fix this problem. We're not addressing social, cultural norm problems that we have in this country. While we bitch and moan about illegal criminal alien scum that we're slowly moving out of this country to address that, we're not addressing what I think is the pink elephant in the corner, which really is not a pink elephant, Marshall.
Yeah, really this whole thing goes back to back in the 70s with Jimmy the Greek, saying that blacks were more superior and he got fucking canceled. He was probably one of the first canceled guys. This whole thing goes back to the fact that they have hidden from the people of the world that there are more species of human than one.
Mm-hmm.
There's more species of human than one.
Right.
There's human 1.0, which are Homo erectus. You can call it different names. That is the black population. Not all of them. Just the ones that don't have a prefrontal cortex. They don't have the physiognomy. Then there's the Cro-Magnon, or they could be called other names, Caucasian. It's a whole different species. We have been lied to and told we have to be nice. Be nice, Brett. Let's be nice. Let's not make them feel inferior.
Nice,
so
nice.
There, I'll end it there.
I'm going to address it. People want to attack. People said I don't fucking care what you fucking.
You see what I'm saying?
I can give two flying fucks of shit. That's the truth. If you can't swallow it, you can't shove it down your gullet and understand and process it. Well, you know what? Welcome to the neighborhood when it comes around and bites you in the ass. So here it is, teen takeover. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. That is exactly true. That is the point of our discussion. When you're not saying the truth of what it is, by utilizing such linguistical misdirects, by suggesting that syntax, that verbiage, okay, is correctly used. It's black youths, okay? And these are animals running around with weapons, ages 12 to 22, all right, shooting up neighborhoods, destroying neighborhoods, vandalizing neighborhoods, and utilizing a small amount, because what I was reading about these takeovers, they are systematically being put in place for this summer to interrupt elections, to also to give us a taste of what the George Floyd riots were. Yes, that's all part of it. And to exacerbate and to push back about the 250th anniversary, July 4th, and many other things, because they want their slave operation, donation, reparations. Yep, that's what it is. And there's a whole culture behind that. And I want people to understand that because, look, this is coming to a town and city near you. And, hopefully that we'll have someone like Grady Judge, but he's in Polk County. I don't think we can get our fucking sheriff to open up his fucking mind to do anything about things here. But Grady Judge vows to hold parents accountable for teen takeovers. Look, these elected sheriffs have the authority and duty to do so. They don't need state representation. They don't need the governor. They have it as an elected official to work inside their counties to go hard in these people. All right, I think that's the bottom line. What we know, Sheriff Grady Judd Friday, he said that deputies will lock up any children who block streets, fight, and destroy property during social media-driven gatherings. The sheriff emphasized that parents who fail to supervise their children will also face criminal charges. That's all you need. The TikTok trend of property damage. They have trends of this going on to destroy and vandalize property, businesses, your cars, your homes. While the sheriff held up papers and said parents would be locked up or charged civilly, he did not specify the exact charges. Well, yeah, that's how the county sheriffs are. The lawyers are going to have to deal with this. We're going to see what the AG of Florida does. Summer vacation criminal records, would you shoot care of? Judd noted that the school is ending for the summer, and he wants children to enjoy their time off working hard all year, but he doesn't want them to start next school year with a criminal record. Think about this. Florida right now in the legislature is actually looking at if your child, is under 18 in charge with a felony, they might not be able to go to public school. And you know what? Bring back reform schools. Bring back juvenile schools then. I think that's a telling right now. If you don't want to charge them with a crime, you have no problem of charging them a crime by making threatening comments in school or pointing their finger at somebody. Well, you know what? When they're actually doing physical fucking crime, charge them. Throw them out. They can't read and write anyway. Throw them into some work camp. They would do it to you and I. Hell, the laws, when I was younger, they would fucking put you away in a second. In juvie. I think in some way these kids get way, honestly, they haven't seen what jail is like. And some of these people don't even fucking care. They think it's a badge of honor. They have no fucking respect. Their parents are lost in oblivion. They probably had 10 kids. They can't control all of them. It's Bebe's kids. I don't know where they are. What difference does it make, right? If the parents don't care about them and we're forced to do something about them, well, you know what the ultimate choice is? I'm not taking care of them. You put them to work or put them in jail. That's it. That's the bottom line.
I think they should be sent to boot camp.
Yeah, even
stay
better.
On the state side, work in the government, and they're going to offer. We're not going to just send you to boot camp. You can get a college degree. You can get a VOA loan to buy your house in the future. You can get the American dream. You promise some shit like that, but you got to be disciplined.
Yeah,
and you've got to run on a regiment. You have a regiment every day. You wake up, you do this, you do that, you go back. They don't have any structure.
I think it's a good point. Put them in.
There's
give them
no structure.
Yeah, ROTC. Get them in the military. Then force them in these positions. Hey, look, you could take these people with criminal records. Hey, there's a movie about that, a World War II movie, where there was actually people that had committed heinous crimes that were sent to some type of division to go behind borders, repel borders behind scenes, and to do some gnarly things. And they were going to get a pardon, supposedly, if they all made it out. And I think that movie was called The Dirty Dozen. Ah, man, that harkened back memories. Think about times like back that. Think about how difficult things are back. There was no this shit. They wouldn't tolerate that. They would execute you in a second. Look, we have right now, Congressman, I think Tim Burchett says bring back hangings. He's offered a bill, bring back hangings. Oh, it wets my whistle. It wets my whistle when I hear that. Just in, outrage is erupting after nearly 2,000 people shot Memorial Day weekend. It doesn't have to happen. But when you have people like this in this system, in this society, this race hustler, this lie, he doesn't give a shit about black. He doesn't care about anybody. Yet another reason why Pritzker and Johnson should be calling in President Trump. This is the whole point. When is this going to end? When are we going to finally break the backs of sanctuary cities?
Recover from their injuries. Officers say around 3 a.m. That's when they were in the area near 25th in Washington, and that's when they did hear gunshots. Officers say they did find those 4 victims. Among those who were shot include an 18-year-old, 2 16-year-old girls, and a 14-year-old boy. They were all taken to Mount Sinai Hospital, where they are currently being treated. It's still unclear what exactly led up to the shooting, and at the scene, there were lots.
Exactly unclear what led up to the shooting. Well, I can tell you right now, if there's a bunch of young blacks around, that's what led up to the shooting. You don't need anything to do it. Bunch of gang affiliations, signs being flickered, all this other crap. What difference does it make? All right? It's the wild, wild west out there. I mean, look, I don't know what the FBI director is saying when 90% of our crime has come down. Maybe in the rest of the country that is not sanctuary city held captive. If that's what you're saying, Cash, okay, I can understand that. But every day I turn on some type of news wire. I read so much on a daily basis, and there's not one thing I see that doesn't involve this nonsense, this behavior. And it doesn't stop. And you're telling me things are getting better? Crime's getting better? Where's it getting better? Well, if you live in Chicago, it's not getting better. If you live in New York, it's not getting better. If you live in areas where violence is just readily available, you know, and life is just what? A cautionary tale of flip a coin and see if you make it out to the grocery store? Is that where we're living in? How can we say we're the greatest country on the planet when our own fucking cities are captured and controlled by these communist Marxists? I'm going to tell you, until that is settled and fixed, I'm not saying that at all. We could celebrate all we want. You could sit there and be like, yay, all this other great stuff. But until you break the stranglehold and bond of sanctuary city fiefdoms in LA and fucking Chicago and New York and all these other places where this dirt slop exists, then don't come fucking bitching at me and saying, yeah, crime's all down. Because if you're not showing me the stats because it's in what, some white suburban area where they're not fucking killing each other, yeah, I buy that. But you're not showing that. We have crime in Orlando. We have crime in Tampa. And we have a robust population full of young black people. So spare me that bullshit. Man, you know what? Just tell us the truth. I'm so sick of the lie about that. But the idea here, look at this. I'll show you this. Here's another example of where the justice system is actually, they're going after finally, I think in some way, they're calling out people finally. But you know what? This is a slow process. This is a slow process. I mean, I think in some way it's impetuous, but look, it takes time. An Alabama judge who called herself an ultimate authority suspended after making racist remarks against a white clerk. Oh, because it's a white clerk. Listen to this. A judge in Jefferson County reportedly told her staff she was the ultimate authority with no boss. You know, there was a word they used back in the, I think in the late 80s, 90s, called the head nigger in charge. And there was actually an acronym for that. And there's movies.
Yeah.
And there was movies that were great actors, that were black actors, that were playing those roles in some way. And they use that acronym all the time. This is the same thing. And this is where it goes to the head. They get a little power. They start to act like this. So it's been suspended following a 120-page complaint filed by a judiciary inquiry. The probate judge, Yashiba Blanchard, is out of the courtroom indefinitely and through the complaint is formally accused of ethical and judicial misconduct. Elizabeth French, the presiding judge in Jefferson County, appointed retired probate judge Sherry Friday to serve temporarily in Blanchard's place and appointed retired judge Carol Smitherin to temporary serve as chief election official in the county. The complaint lays out dozens of allegations against Blanchard that claim she ran the probate court in an incompetent and unprofessional manner, routinely targeted attorneys and staff, manufacturing a backlog that created havoc in involuntary commitments. The commission charges Blanchard with a pattern of practice, failing to diligently discharge the judicial duties, pattern and practice of failing to what? Follow the law, pattern and practice of exhibiting bias against attorneys appearing in Blanchard's court. Where do we see someone like this, a prosecutor somewhere in Fulton County, act like this? Failure to disqualify from a case in which Blanchard served as an attorney, harassment, imitation, retaliation against probate court. The Alabama judge suspended after being accused of delaying cases so she could walk her dogs, as well as making racial remarks against a white woman. Okay, Oh, at least that's a start. We got a bunch of other federal judges and other people who think their shit don't stink, and it's okay. They can act in this way, and then it's okay because white men don't matter. We're taking back the power. Yeah, that shit is settling. Okay, moving on because I'm gonna have a heart attack about this.
Well, they come into these jobs, though, Brett, and they
Yeah.
think that they can just do whatever the fuck they want.
Well, that's the problem.
They become kings and queens in their own mind.
Well, that's the problem I was setting up. I was saying if you can't control your children and they act like this and they chimp out everywhere and they start acting out like this, you can't control them. Single parent, this and that. What do you think you're going to do at your job? You're going to have the same display of scorn and hate and vitriol. You'll be like, fuck that. Fuck you. I don't have to do anything. I'm black. I can get away with all I want. But that's the hubris. That's the arrogance. That's what I'm talking about. That has gone on for too long. And as Hillary Clinton once said, we got to put these people to heel. See, they knew how to control them. And who's the true racist? The Democrat Party. Hell, they spawned the KKK. They're the ones who started the riots in the South back in the 50s and 60s that forced us into this subversion of the 65 Civil Rights Act. They purposely whipped this shit up. So we're at this stage now. We can't play hands off anymore. So here it is. Here's the final coup de grace. Non-whites set to become a majority in the U.S. for the first time in 2050, with New York and Jersey and Connecticut reflecting the same change. Yeah, good luck. Never moving there. Non-whites are set to become the majority in the first time in the U.S. by 2050, a situation mirrored up to 16 states, including New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, according to a new census data. The expected transformation reflects an astonishing demographic changes projected to sweep across America between 40 and 50, fueled by international and internal migration, as well as the falling birth rates. In 1980, the U.S. was 80% white, but that figure is expected to drop 47% by 2050. Well, if you can remove all the criminal and illegal rot that have nestled in here with the dirty anchor baby cockroaches, if you can remove all that slop, these numbers would change, especially from a census point of view, and 44% by 2060. At the same level of shifts are even more striking. In 2003, states California, Hawaii, and Mexico had less than 50% of the white population. I think you get the point. You understand where I'm going with this. I don't know. Everybody's a little quiet in here because I went on a rampage, but I don't really care. I think in some way you have to understand this position. Thank you, Thea, for the 300 gold pills. Would USA donate 532 gold pills? Need more gold pill love. Support the boys stream. Let's effing go. Last of my pills. Hey, man, thank you for always supporting the channel. Thank you for always being here. I appreciate your support. Thank you, Darla, for the cookie. What if Trump says he's a wartime president? Yeah, I think we covered that in some way. I think it's possible. It's plausible. I still think
I want to add to that.
Go ahead, go ahead. Please.
Yeah. I want to add to that. If you're a third world person and you think your world is going to be better by eliminating the white people, you might want to really think about that. Because the problem is the third worlder people, whatever color you are, you haven't many of them have, many black people know the realization that the more white people you're around, the better your world is.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And they need to learn that fucking fact.
And you'll live longer. All right, let's move on. I want to belabor this. I want to get on to other stuff before we dip out of here because I got a little bit more. I got a lot more stuff that's more positive in some way. Don't mind my rants, but that's how I personally feel. And we have to fix the problems in this country, or we can't move on or forward together like we're supposed to, because I don't know where that's going to be. One day, someone will kind of let me in on that little secret because I'm not seeing it right now. I'm really not seeing it right now. All right, so President Trump refers to the UFO files, drops this extraterrestrial information. Listen to this, things that people are totally fascinated by. It's amazing. I wasn't sure they would enjoy it. It's literally trending. Number one, you could believe it. A lot of people are out there like it. We're releasing all that information. Okay.
A lot of information having to do with extraterrestrial things, and people are totally fascinated by it. It's amazing. I wasn't sure they would enjoy it. It's literally trending number one. Can you believe it? So a lot of people out there are like it, but we're releasing all of that information.
He said that today, by the way. So let's keep that in mind, that this is all today in his cabinet meeting, not the cabinet meeting that was supposed to go to Camp David. Cabinet meeting here. Interesting. These are some of the stuff that's been released. There's more stuff, I think, coming at the end of the week. I was looking on the files. They gave you the thing. So going through it. I'm not really looking at it. It's some interesting stuff. But until they reel out a live body or a dead body or something, or an actual fucking craft that we know that wasn't made by Lockheed Martin or Skunk Works or anything else, I'm not holding my breath. That's just my opinion. Fascinating, right? They used to call them what? Fast walkers. That was a term back in the 90s, mid to late 90s. They called them fast walkers. They had so many different names for them in some way. How do you know they're not ours? I mean, again, some of these things that are orbs and stuff, I don't know. But this is what they're seeing on radar. I mean, I guarantee you we have stuff that is like this to a lesser degree or maybe more. Look at this. Fascinating. I'm just glad we're seeing it. What is that? That's a fast walker. What's a fast walker? Okay, I got more. Highlights from the second UFO. Here's the second one. Is that the same one? I mean, are they just repeating? No, is that different? You can't tell. It's the same one. They just put it over and over again in different reams. Okay. All right, I think so. All right, let me get out of this. Okay, there was more to this comment and stuff. I got to read your comments, and then we'll get it. We'll get Marshall's take. True Terran, would comment more. Long day, tired. Keep ranting, bro. Thank you, sir. Preach it, Brett. This is why I watch your show. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I know a lot of people enjoy those. G. Westbury, the D party will cease to exist. No shit. Q said strange. All the Q delters this week. Yep. Let's see who else is here. Yeah, Trump won. No one would get free shit if white people don't exist. Bingo. She said it. Ding, 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 ding. Where's my thing? Where's the dump? Oh, there it is. Sorry, this that. Yep. Thank you, Thea, for the 300 gold pills. Dora L. gifted the cookie. Black counties need whites to feed, and black countries need whites to feed them, house them, or else they'll live in huts and have kuru. Ask Bill and Hillary Clinton that honeymoon in the middle of in Haiti. Yeah, ring a bell. Ugh, disgusting, right? It's terrible. You guys are some funny people. Ball lightning does something like that. You know what? I saw that, Curious Cat. Let me get out of this. I got more to go. Let me show you this before we dip out. All right, let me put this. I'll give you the short version of this because there's another one. I'll drop the Zero Hedge one in there because you got to read the article and listen to this. But listen to this, and we'll play this right now. Let me lower the music. Okay, here it is. So, a new missing UFO-linked Air Force general that had the meeting with an unidentified woman, members of the U.S. Space Force. Remember the guy, William Neal McCaslin, who was linked to the UFO programs. He vanished on the 27th. According to a body cam audio, McCaslin had dinner with members of the Space Force. That is the United States Space Force. Listen, the night before he disappeared. He was very classified security clearance. He was the head of the Air Force Research Lab. The man's name are in the UFO documents. He's been in that depth. According to UFO whistleblower David Grush, McCaslin was considered hostile and not being cooperative with lawmakers. Let's play this.
I called in trying to get hold of everyone. I'm actually walking into his favorite coffee shop right now to see if they've seen him.
Oh.
So I work with Mr. McCaslin on the Kirtland Partnership. He's a board member. He's a retired general with Air Force Research Lab.
Okay.
And we had dinner Thursday evening at Cervantes off of Gibson
Okay.
at 6 o'clock with Space Force. And what I noticed, I was shocked this morning when I saw the alert, because what I noticed Thursday evening is he wasn't his usual self. He was kind of spacey and quiet. And you know, that happens with people, so I didn't put anything with it.
Right.
He left in his vehicle, and then I called this morning. I called security forces out of Kirtland just to ensure he hasn't used his card out there, and he hasn't. He has an access based, and they're going to keep monitoring that area. But from what I understand, let me tell you this first. So Thursday evening, he was wearing a blue and white striped collared shirt, button down.
Okay.
And he was wearing a little name tag, his KPC name tag. And so, from what I understand, is he left the house, his wife didn't take anything, was on the running trail, and it was last seen at 11 o'clock yesterday.
Right. Does he carry like a security clearance or anything like that?
He has a very classified security clearance. He was the head of Air Force Research Lab. To the point, the man's names are in the UFO documents that are fixed to be released.
Okay.
He's in that in depth, so he has a very high security clearance.
So apparently, this was being this conversation was being recorded and it's being released. Now, Zero Hedge dropped this. I'm just going to drop it in the chat and Marshall, your thoughts while I go through this. This one, the Zero Hedge really puts out a really good article. And there's a long YouTube video. I'm going to copy and paste this here. I'll show it to you real quickly. You could see it, but there's much more about this story that's coming out. And people are when Zero Hedge puts something out like this is big. See, here's the body cam footage. Retired Major General William McCaslin had dinner with meeting U.S. Space Force members the night before an unexplained deepening concerns. Their suggestion is that he went in hiding for a reason. And the question is, why? Why? Where did he go? Is he in some type of wit sack or something of that? I don't know. I'm going to drop it in here. I suggest you guys read this. Fascinating. There's an actual YouTube thing on this that's even more fascinating. I suggest you look at it if you're interested in this stuff. I find these things interesting, just like I find the 411 stuff with David Politis and all the missing people, the hunters and all these people that go missing in national, let's just say parks and stuff. That it fascinates me even more. And the fact there's no registry on it, they don't really investigate it. People just disappear and that's it. They're gone. That's it. No one really does a whole thing. They just take a memo and that's it. It's just crazy. Your thoughts, Marshall? I mean,
the national parks is a big one. I mean, people have no idea how many people disappear going at these national parks, and they're in the middle of nowhere. And they've got cameras all set up in the damn woods. People don't know that. They don't think that. They're just like, whatever. And this guy, they're holding back on so much that, Brett, we all know this. We've talked about it before, that we can only let us know a certain amount. Otherwise, it would collapse the economy, like you mentioned before.
Oh, I know. I already.
What are you going to do? You just take it as you can get it,
So Trump's secret NATO ultimatum sparks panic as U.S. pulls jets, bombers, and every submarine from Europe. Is set to slash an arsenal of U.S. fighter jets. What have we been talking on the show, ladies and gentlemen? What are the things I've said on the show? That the Federal Reserve is gone or gone bye-bye, as we just showed you. That, it's been closed for 6 years. So we're just appointing people to imaginary positions that are going to work inside the Treasury. I mean, are they just really going to work for the Treasury Department because we absolved that? And now that we're seeing what? We are leaving NATO. If this is not a major right in your face, bye-bye NATO, see ya, military envoy to Pete Hegseth blindsided senior NATO officials in a classified Brussels briefing last week, revealing U.S. firepower committed to defending Europe will significantly decline, Der Spiegel and Reuters report. Der Spiegel is the German news reporter, kind of like a Reuters. The U.S. fighter jet commitment to NATO is to be slashed by a third, while the Navy will withdraw destroyers from the alliance pool. Let me just say this. Over the course of the next several years, we will see the numbers break down where they will end eventually close up shop and bases. The 100,000 will be brought back. We'll probably get it down to less than maybe 50, maybe 40. I mean, and eventually until it's all pulled. And I believe it's a plan over time. All right. It's not just nuclear stuff. It's all the bases, the shutter it and stuff. We are walking away. This is the thing. Washington will also pull its submarines from alliance altogether. Wow. That's big. Alexander Velez Green reported Tuesday, told officials behind closed door, you will be left to maintain its own supply of reconnaissance drones, a weapon that has proved decisive in the battlefields of Ukraine. I saw comments on YouTube, Marshall, that call us kooks, quacks. I've seen people like, we're never leaving NATO. You guys are all a bunch of tinfoil idiots. Well, if the Daily Mail is saying that we're reducing our arsenal, we're slashing and cutting everything in half, and tell me that's not a reduction. What does that mean if it's not a reduction? Then what we're doing? What are we doing? We're just realigning them somewhere else? Or are we bringing them back whole? Probably a little bit of both. But if that's not a reduction and that's not walking back from NATO, I don't know what is.
Well, they can believe whatever they want, but NATO's done.
Yeah.
As far as we're concerned, as far as our country is concerned, that's over.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pulling how many jets and all these out of
half. Yeah. He said almost all of those. All submarines are gone. Think about it. All submarines are gone, ladies and gentlemen. That's massive.
Good luck. Good luck.
All right, the last point of the show that we'll get to, because I want to cover this. A whistleblower claims the CIA used DNA data from Ancestry 23andMe. This came out yesterday. Customers in search for aliens. I'm not sure about this, but apparently the government isn't disclosing everything about UFOs. Whistleblowers accuse the CIA attempting to use sites like 23andMe and Ancestry. I never utilized these sites at all. I thought there was something very nefarious going on there. Obviously, this was to find out your DNA, to trace it back to its roots, its origin, and I think also to be used for other nefarious, let's just say devious purposes with the DNA in their makeup. Having a control of your DNA, I don't like that at all. CIA wants to hunt them down, said philosopher novelist Jason Reza, PhD, while discussing the so-called top secret program in an episode of American Alchemy. Georgiana claimed that he was alerted that this bug hunting initiative by Army veteran Lynn Buchanan, who claims that he was a psychic spy with the CIA's remote viewing program, precognition. All these things are real. They use this stuff. They still use it, which investigate whether individuals have extrasensory perception, telepathy, all these different things to conduct recon in distant objects, events, or people. Georgiana said Buchanan had informed him. Former CIA analyst, UAP specialist Christopher Kit Green has devised a backdoor way of accessing 23andMe, Ancestry, Uber popular sites to break down users and family trees to screen users for a specific genetic variants linked to non-human beings. What if it's to Jesus Christ? What if we have direct connections to, our angelic ancestry in some way? Is it just has to be? I mean, who's to say Jesus Christ wasn't an alien? I mean, what are they saying here? They're saying that, there's something in our DNA that points to what? Well, I remember reading in some post somewhere why they want our DNA, why they want that stuff. Where does it connect to? Ascension in some way. Where does that go to? I'm not necessarily sure it's alien, but alien in the sense of foreign, something that the subversives, the dark, people out there that, that want to they want to hunt you down. They want to eliminate that bloodline. I think it's something much more indicative to our relationship to Christ and God, the angelic, the ascension, not necessarily to alien, but that's not so hard to understand. Well, how do you do that in some way if there's a hybridization program? Are you saying that there are hybrids walking around here and they're looking to find them with alien DNA, or they don't even know they have alien DNA? I'm just saying, I'm not really sure how they're discussing this in some manner and what it points to. I think it's a little bit more in depth than just saying they're looking for alien DNA for people that have certain metaphysical qualities that are off the spectrum in some way, that are, Yeah, he was an alien from an outer worldly from God. Yeah, there you go. That's my point. There could be other things here. I mean, I'm not talking Starman here. I'm talking about, they're talking about the idea that we possess in ourselves things that we haven't unlocked yet. But they know who we are based upon the DNA that they can process through our blood genetically. Wow. Interesting, Marshall. What's your thoughts? I mean, this is fascinating in some way, but I've heard this before.
It poses a question to me is, why does Israel not want or not allow, make it illegal to have genetic testing, DNA testing,
it's a good
like
point.
23andMe?
Well,
so
we
it
know
makes
the
you
answer to
wonder,
that.
is there a plurality of humans or of beings?
Mhm.
You know, are they separate? Why are they trying to do this? Why do they not want their people to have, you know, a 23andMe thing? I mean, it just seems there's definitely proving a lot of things that we talked about during the show.
But what are you trying to say specifically about that? I mean, I know what you're talking
There are
about. When it
more
comes to-
humans than one human.
Right, I got you.
That there
I
are
know
more
that.
species of human.
Mhm.
And it could be more than just two. It could be
right
2 or 3. Who knows? I mean, but there's something up with all this. And these aliens, I don't think they're aliens. I think that they're these other people. Like in the movie They Live. Sound crazy, but you know what? I don't think so.
Well, what USA
that
says something good. Don't fall for the deception to believe anything from the CIA. No, I get you, Wood. And you're right. They want you disconnected from God and Jesus. But I know these programs are real. I've seen this stuff. I've seen the discussions about precognition, about remote viewing, and all these things that are done in some way. Whether they're suggesting that they're looking for that potential in you doesn't necessarily reside in the idea, reside in the idea that it's alien DNA, alien like extraterrestrial or interdimensional. It could be alien in the sense of what Darla is saying too. It's more of angelic, you know what I'm saying? That falls into that Christian, let's just say reality, you know, specific DNA. Yeah, they made viruses specific too. Yeah, I saw that. A very weird and odd opinion to put this out. But, well, that's our show for tonight. I wanted to get to other things, but we're way past our bedtime here. So I want to thank everybody out there. Marshall, your final thoughts, your discussions out here.
No, I mean, it pulls out all the reality that we don't know as much as we need to know about who these other people are that look like us.
Right.
We're not all the same. We are not all the same. Everybody knows that by now.
Yeah.
You look at these teen takeovers,
Mhm.
you don't see white kids going out there doing this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't. It's not, you could say, well, it's their family. Well, maybe it's also their genetics, a violent tendency, these kind of things. It's not about hating anybody. It's just a reality.
Yep. Yeah, I think a certain recognition is going to have to be discussed about how we're going to have to deal with this and contend with this, but we're also going to have a real discussion about and focus about our reality of understanding what we're living in and where we're going. I mean, Darla, give the cookie, those PCR tests during COVID were probably a collection of our DNA. Absolutely. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised in some way they were utilized to extract your DNA to use more testing upon. That's why I never got tested. I never took a jab. I wasn't letting them doing anything. I don't like fucking needles anyway. So, you know, that's it. You know, just I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to give them anything. They already have enough of us. All right. They have your fingerprint. They have your hand palm. They have a lot of things. You know, I wouldn't be surprised they're going to come for you, but they want that DNA. They want that blood. There's something there that they want. And I think we know what it is. And you know, would USA, you're right. I mean, in the sense of think alien, it's something, you know, not outside the realm of understanding where we're going. There's something more angelic and what's important to that in some way. All right. Well, that's our show for tonight. I will return on, I think maybe tomorrow. I have some more things I got to discuss because I didn't do a show on Monday, but I definitely will be back here on Friday. That's it. That's our show for this evening and stuff. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Marshall. Have a good evening. If you want to help Marshall out on the way out, ko-fi.com/surfdog74. Thanks, everybody. Good night. God bless. Be well. Be safe. Don't play with midgets. Don't smoke in bed. And don't bet on the ponies. Ciao.